if a project is under construction, right? And the construction company, or you get to know that there is a mall going to be built here, which has a completion date around the completion date of this project, go for that project.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mahdi Tijani back with you guys again. Once again, we're going to be discussing the real estate situation in Turkey right now. You guys hear me talk to you all the time about intersexual relationship dynamics, man and woman and so on. And one of the issues we cannot escape as men is the burden of performance. We have a burden of performance in many different areas for that matter. And one of those areas is in the area of finances. So last week I had on Brother Uthman. We had him, we couldn't actually bring him onto the stream, but I have him here. This time we're doing a Zoom call and you can see him there for yourself, mashallah, in all his glory. Allahumma barik. Uthman, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, brother?
Very good, alhamdulillah. Please give an introduction about yourself to the audience once again for those who may have missed you last week.
So my name is Usman Ali. I am from Pakistan originally. I have been living here in Turkey for the past 3.5 years, and I am in this business of real estate for almost 1.5, 2 years. I used to live in Ankara. I have been in this business in real estate for the past 1.5, 2 years. And the reason why I joined this business or I came into this industry is that this is a booming market right now in Istanbul and most profitable market. As a broker, as a salesman, as whatever you call, as a marketer, this market or this industry has a big potential right now in Istanbul. It has big potential all over the world, but right now in Turkey, especially in Istanbul, it is booming.
Okay, that's why because you mentioned it's a great opportunity from a salesperson's perspective, from a marketer's perspective, from a broker's perspective. But how about from an investor's perspective? Because the people who will be watching this podcast, they don't care about the brokers or about the salesmen or about the marketers. They care about themselves and what you can do for them. Is this a genuine opportunity for them? What's in it for them?
Brother, if it is not a good opportunity for an investor, then it is not a good opportunity for a salesperson, for a marketer, or for a broker. If this is an opportunity for an investor, then everyone can earn. If an investor cannot earn, all these other participants in this business or in this industry cannot earn. So first of all, if investor earns or investor gains, all these players will gain. If investor doesn't gain, or this market will collapse and the boom will finish. So investor is the main player in whether it be a constructor, what do you call constructor, who construct the building, whether it is a marketing company, whether it's a sales office. It all revolves around two players. The big players, one is investor and the other one is consumer. These two are the main players, and all other are like accommodating them.
So we spoke about a number of things last week, and once again, for the audience who are watching right now, we are not going to name any companies, and we're not going to plug anyone or anything. Why? To keep this as authentic as possible. If you want to get into contact with Uthman afterwards, we will put all of the relevant stuff in the description at the end, but we are keeping this completely anonymous. We're not giving any clout to any companies, so that you can take the information and do as you please with that without worrying about, oh, they've got an angle, they've got a motive. No, there's no angle, there's no motive here. This is pure information. So Uthman, I wanted to speak with you today about something that is concerning to a lot of investors, which is the Lira. The value of the Lira, the fluctuate, which is the Turkish currency for those of you who might not know, and the fluctuation of the Lira. Please explain to us the situation in Turkey, the history behind the lira over the past few years, and how this may or may not impact the investment of an investor, and really get down to the basics, because some people don't understand that when the value of a currency diminishes, it takes away from the value of your purchase. So please give us, the whole background, bearing in mind that you have your MBA from Webster University in Missouri, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So from where I should start? When I came to Turkey, first of all, the lira was against dollar, it was 5.5, 5 or 5.5. Now where it stands, it is 9 liras per dollar.
Mm.
There is depreciation of lira, no doubt about this. And we are the ones who are living inside Turkey are suffering the most, because we are facing the hikes in prices and everything. And everything is getting expensive and everything. But as an investor's point of view, it is not a bad investment still, even though the lira is depreciating. Why? They are going to invest in dollars, first thing. Second, this is a deliberate plan of Turkish government to decrease the value of lira. In our last podcast, I hit that point briefly. I can explain it further if you want.
Yes, please.
Why? Because it will, if lira decrease.
Keep your phone straight. Try and keep your phone
Yeah,
straight.
sorry. If lira depreciates, what will happen? You will have pounds. 1 pound will become. You can buy more liras with same 1 pound or $1. So it will increase tourism in Turkey. I give you an example of Thailand. Thailand is, before Corona, it was world's second or third most visited place in the world. Especially Europeans and Americans used to go to Thailand for party and all these kind of things. Why? Because they could buy 35 Thai baht with $1. 35 Thai baht with $1. And it was like every year there was around 60 million, 70 million visitors or tourists that go to Thailand.
Right.
So they were bringing dollars from outside. Why baht were decreasing or depreciating? Because it was Thailand government didn't want baht to appreciate. Why? Because then tourism will stop. People would look for other destinations that are cheaper and they can go and do party, cheap party. So similarly, to increase tourism, one, in Turkey, and they achieved that goal. They were on right track before Corona. Even in Corona, no other countries were open, but Turkey was open for tourism. One. Second, in 2019, before Corona, as I told you in our last podcast as well, that there were 36 million visitors that visited Turkey. Second, and the most important thing is the exports. Why do you depreciate your currency? To increase your exports. That people from other countries will
make it easier for other countries to buy products from your country.
Yes, I gave you example of McDonald's, if you remember. So if it was a free word, you would never buy a McDonald's meal from England. You would rather buy it from Turkey.
Sure.
So this is one. Second, where was I? Like I was explaining, the exports will increase, right? So when your exports increase, what it does, it gives boost to the economy. So this is a deliberate plan of Turkey to increase their exports and tourism into the country. And that's why they are depreciating lira. But to what point? That is the main question, that to what point lira will decrease. They are planning to stabilize it around 9. It is now 9 liras per dollar, and they are looking to stabilize it.
And how does how do you stabilize it? And why? Why stabilize it? Why not just let it go farther and farther down?
No, you cannot let it go, because then there will be the protests inside the country because prices increase. Right. Second thing is recently the interest rate in Turkey was 19%. Yeah, 19%.
Okay.
They decreased it to 18%.
Okay.
Okay. So when it decreased by 1%, Lira took a hit and it started increasing. Why would you do that? So it was a delay when they knew that Lira is already depreciating. Why would you do such a thing? They deliberately did this thing to increase interest rate by 1% to further to make Lira further depreciate. So this was the reason. When government is doing these things, it means that they have a clear plan and they have some motive in their head what they are going to do with Lira. So they made Lira depreciated, but to this point, what we are hearing is that they want to stabilize Lira around 9.5. They won't let it go further than this. So this is the point that they have achieved, and they will stabilize it. Once now, Lira is cheaper as compared to dollar. But once when it is dangerous, when it is depreciating continuously, then it becomes a dangerous thing. But
Right.
when you stabilize it, even though it is high but stabilized, then there is no problem.
Okay. So what does that mean as an investor? As an investor, you know, we have either pounds, euros, or dollars. What does that mean for the investor? Is this good news that the lira has depreciated for us as foreign investors?
Yeah. Why? Because with same $100,000, you could buy a better apartment as an investor, or you can invest more. Because what you would do, let's suppose you had 100,000 pounds and Lira was 9 against pound. So you would get 900 liras. Now with same 100,000 pounds, you are getting 1,200,000 liras. So you can invest more. This is the right time to invest in Turkey as an investor, because you can get a better thing in same $100,000. You know, so this is a best opportunity to invest in Turkey right now. But if, let's suppose I give you an example, that if Lira appreciates not so much, the Lira depreciated by 2 lira, like from when I came in 2-3 years, it depreciated by 4 against dollar. But if it rises for a rise, it doesn't have to be a rise of 4 liras or 2 liras, or even slight rise like 50 kurush. Kurush is like 1 penny. 1 kurush is 1 penny. So if it rises by 50 kurush, like from 9, it becomes to 8.5. What it will happen? The same $100,000 that you invested, you can gain $6,000, approximately $6,000 on that by sitting there. How? Because you invested Lira when it was 9, $100,000. Now Lira is 8.5. I'm giving an example. So a slight appreciation in Lira earned you $6,000 approximately. You can calculate it. So this is the effect. You imagine in future, as we are expecting.
What about the other way? Surely it could also go the other way, in which case, if it went up to 9.5, I would lose $5,000.
Okay, I will give you an example for that. You have invested in property. That's what I am telling you, that safest investment is a real estate investment. One thing you know, that once a price goes up of a property, it never comes back. Even if oil price goes down, even if there is an depreciation, the price of property always, when it reaches, it goes up, doesn't come back from there. This is a proven fact. You understand my point, or no? Should I explain?
No, I'm listening, because in the UK, we have had instances where property prices have gone down. They typically stabilize and go back up again, but it has happened where they have come down for a period of time.
But it doesn't take a so big hit like it would go down drastically. It never happens with property. Property is the safest thing to invest in. Second thing, that I give you an example. There was an apartment. This is a real example, and you were here, you listened with your own ears this example. I am talking in Lira's term. So there was an apartment that was 150,000 liras, 150,000 liras. That apartment after 2 years went up to 500,000 liras. The price of that apartment, $150,000. The price of lira was six. $1 was six against lira at that time.
Okay.
Now that property, $150,000 property, lira's property is 500,000 lira's property right now. The lira went down from 6 to 9.
Okay.
So now you calculate. Lira went down by 50%, increased by 50%, right? 6 to 9, at exactly 50%. But the value of the property went up by 200%. From 150, more than 200%. You can calculate it, more than 200%. So even if lira took a hit, you can again that property again had profit. Okay, not 200%, but at least 150, 100% profit here. So it is all.
Even if the lira takes a hit and depreciates,
yeah.
Is it because you're buying and selling in dollars that you don't feel the impact? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Because you are selling in, and in my last podcast, I told you that you should invest in an under construction project to again resell it to a buyer who is looking for a citizenship, a foreigner, not a Turk. That is the best investment. Why Turkey is the booming market? Because of the fact that Arabs, UAE, Middle East, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, these countries are buying Turkish citizenship like hotcakes. So this is why you can sell at a higher price to them, to a foreigner. This is the reason. If you, I think you play cricket, right? I want, So to hit a perfect cover drive for 4, what 2 things you need?
No idea. I just swing the damn thing.
No, the thing is, there is a technique, and 2 things that you need is timing and placement to hit a cricket ball for 4. Similarly, in real estate, 2 things are very important, and those are timing and placement. I will explain why. Timing, what time to invest and what time to take out your investment out of that project. One thing is called timing. Second, placement. Placement covers so many things, like where is that project, what things you have around that project, and what is the potential of that project, when will it be going to complete. All these things, if you get a better idea of that and you take into account and you invest, it's a safe investment always. If those 2 things you keep in mind. If timing, why? You have to choose in which project to invest at what time and when to come out of that project. I give you an example. If the project is under construction, there is a greater chance that upon completion, the prices will rise by a greater percentage as compared to if you invest in a project that is already completed. There will be rise in prices, but a gradual rise in prices with inflation. And inflation never goes up more than 13%, 15%. You can check all records and everything. Maximum inflation happens 15%, 16%. But in normal developing countries or developed countries, the inflation, they try to stabilize this inflation rate from 8 to 10% in between. So a project that is already been completed will not yield so much profit to you. But if it is under construction and you invested at a right time and waited, you don't have to rush for that. Wait for 1 year, 1.5 years. And as I told you, the construction in Turkey is really fast. They finish the project in 2.5 years maximum. So upon completion or close to completion, you sell your apartment and move on to another opportunity. Invest there in a better project and keep the cream for your use. I give you an example. Let's suppose, for instance, you invested 100,000 in a project, under construction project that has just started. So what you would do, that you will wait for 1.5 years, very close to the project's completion date. What will happen? You can sell the same apartment that you bought for $100,000 1.5 years back. It's a very pessimistic figure that I'm giving you, very conservative figure, like $160,000, same after 1.5 years.
Right.
This is very pessimistic. You can sell it at a higher rate, but this is very pessimistic figure that I'm giving you. So what you will do, that after 1.5 years, you will have your initial investment back $100,000, and on top of that you will have $60,000 more. Okay, out of that $160,000, if you are a real investor, you will invest $120,000 in a better project, in a better location. You will move ahead. Okay, and remaining $40,000, it's your profit. You go and spend it for 1 year, or if you want to buy a car or something like that. So this is how investor gain and they become rich. Why? If you put this same amount of money in bank, $100,000, after a year, if it's a very optimistic figure that I'm giving you, maximum bank will give you 15%. Okay.
I never heard of a bank giving you 15% interest rate, but
okay, that's why I said it's an optimistic figure that I'm giving you. 15% they won't give you. So after a year, how much will you have? $115,000. Okay, it looks $115,000. $15,000 is your profit, right? After a year.
Right.
But what about inflation? 8% inflation, minimum 8% inflation you had, so your profit is 7,000. As compared to when you invested in property, first of all, it is halal. You don't have to worry about haram. Right. Secondly, that initial investment that you made $100,000, it became $120,000. You move to another project. According to my example, you move to another better project. Your $100,000 is not $100,000 anymore. It is $120,000 now. Whereas if you invested in bank, the initial investment, $100,000, still the same. It didn't increase. That $15,000 that bank is giving you as interest is your profit. You consider it as profit. You don't consider it as capital gain. Whereas in property, you have a capital gain and you have a profit as well. And you moved, your initial capital increased by 20%, and you moved on a better project. This is how you become rich, if you think wisely.
In real estate, I've got you.
Yeah, real estate.
Oh, very interesting. Is there anything else that the people need to know about the Lira, the currency, how it could affect them? What else is important for them to know?
There is talk going around for like more than a decade now that in 2023, the Treaty of Lausanne will be finishing.
Right.
Okay. It started in 1923. It was a treaty between European Union, or you can say European countries like France, UK, the big players, and Turkey at that time.
Right.
That they can use Bosphorus, or they can use Turkish this Bosphorus Strait, and they don't. The ships that will be passing through that won't pay any tax to Turkish government, so they are losing so much tax according to that treaty. They cannot dig out their own oil. They cannot search the oil. So that treaty will be finishing in 2023. What impact will it have on?
From you, I learned that once a country starts increasing their exports, and in this case, it will be oil and gas, the value of their currency goes up. The value of the lira will go up. So what impact will that have on an investment? Number one, am I correct in saying that? And then number two, what will be the impact on the investor?
Well, that's why I'm saying that right now is the right time to invest in Turkey.
Yep.
Once they will start digging out the oil or gas, which they have found in Mediterranean Sea. So if they start digging out their own oil, let's suppose it is not that much, but if they are enough to fulfill their domestic needs, right? They won't be buying any oil or gas from outside the country. They won't be importing that. So it means they don't have to buy dollars anymore. their balance of payment will increase because their exports are higher, their imports are less. It will automatically result in an appreciation of lira. Okay, once the appreciation happens, I gave you an example. The same, if it increases from 9 to 8.5, it appreciates from 9 to 8.5. The impact of $100,000 investment will be $6,000 profit. It's a minor figure that I am giving you. Let's suppose it appreciates from 9 to 8. On same $100,000, you will have $12,000, approximately $12,000 by sitting there, doing nothing. It is not the thing that you are expecting after the completion of construction and all these kind of things, the rise in the prices. This is just an impact of appreciation. So that's why I'm saying this is the best time to invest in Turkey. Lira is falling. It is not concerning the investor who is going to invest from outside the country. It is a concern for us that Lira is depreciating, who are taking a hit and who are living inside Turkey. But who is going to invest from outside the country? For him, it is a golden period to invest in Turkey right now.
So not only is there a genuine opportunity excluding the currency situation, meaning investing in Istanbul in particular right now is a very lucrative opportunity, but if we factor in that the lira will inevitably appreciate once Turkey start exporting their own gas and oil,
not exporting. I'm not saying, I didn't even mention that they will start exporting. I said they will start using their own oil and gas for their domestic use.
Right. So we didn't even get to the exporting part. Right.
No.
So the value of your holding, of your investment will appreciate automatically, simply because
if you are invested from outside the country, right?
Outside the country,
right. Now let's suppose you invested 100. Because I don't know, all of us or the listeners know about economics or finance. That's why I always give an example. It becomes easier if you are not if it's not getting boring for you.
No.
If you want,
of course.
So now lira is 9 against $1, right? $100,000 you invest, you will get a property of 900,000 liras, right? If lira appreciates after 2 years and becomes 8, what will it happen? The same if the property's value doesn't go up, the same property you can sell at 900,000 liras, but now the lira is 8 against dollar. You can buy more dollars with that same investment.
I got you.
That is what my point.
And at the same time, as a warning to investors as well, though, that once the lira does go up and appreciate, and you will be able to buy less liras per dollar. So right now it's 1 to 9, but once it, for example, is to 1 to 6, the buying power of the foreign investor will diminish. It will decrease.
Yes,
right now
it will decrease.
Buying power.
Yes. Why? Because now you with $100,000 you can buy a bigger apartment. For example, I'm not saying that in $100,000 you will get this. For an example, I am telling you, you can buy a 2+1 apartment, 2-bedroom and 1 living room apartment. If lira starts appreciating, that apartment is still 900,000. But now you can only buy if it appreciates and come to 8 or 7. You cannot buy the same apartment. You have to buy 1+1 in this price. This is what my point is. So that is why I'm saying that it is the best time to invest in Turkey right now for an investor from outside the country, not from inside the country.
I got you. Perfect. Athman, this has been brilliant. Are there any parting pieces of advice, nuggets that you'd like to leave the listener on the topic of today, which is to do with the currency? Anything you want to leave them before we conclude this?
Lira, I started it that Istanbul is a booming market and it will stay like this. There should be a legitimate question or logical question from an investor that how long it will stay booming. There is a fall to every rising thing, right? So the answer to this is, first of all, the Turkish government's policy to transform Istanbul they have a vision to transform Istanbul by 2033. So it means you have a safe passage of 12 years still of this booming market. So there will be a hell lot of construction going on in Istanbul. This is part of their plan. This is part of their vision. One.
And yes, go. And two.
Second, I mentioned this Treaty of Lausanne. Because of that, they don't want to use Bosphorus so much. They are making an artificial canal on the west side of Istanbul. I am sure many people have heard about that. That is a plan of Turkish government. In 3 years' time, they are going to build that canal. And the areas beside that canal will rise up like, I don't have an example for that. The property will go, will skyrocket over there. And the investors who are real investors, who look into future and who have a lot of money, they are investing in that area from now on. They are buying lands. They are buying land near that canal.
You see, this
So
land,
once
I was just speaking to a brother today. He said to me, he bought land in Pakistan in 2001, 2002. He said, I can't remember which parts of Pakistan. He said, I bought plots for $5,000-$6,000 an acre. He said, today, he bought 27 acres. He said, today, those same plots are going for $130,000 per acre. 20 years.
I know this thing where he's talking about which area he bought and
Really?
what he's talking about.
Right.
This is he's not lying. So,
but this is Turkey right now. That's the point I'm making. Turkey now is Pakistan 2001.
No, Pakistan. You imagine in Pakistan only the buyers from Pakistan are buying. We don't have any foreign interest in Pakistan. No foreigner investing in Pakistan to get the citizenship of Pakistan. Imagine the rise in prices in Pakistan. Now you imagine the country where people are dying to buy their citizenship. I'm not talking about UK, Europe, or Canada or America. Leave them aside. I'm talking about Middle East. I'm talking about Pakistanis. I'm talking about Bangladeshis, Palestinians. You come here, you see how many Arabs are living in Istanbul and Turkey for that matter. Why they are investing and getting citizenship of Turkey? This is part of Turkish government's policy that in 2018 they introduced that the amount that you needed to get Turkish citizenship before 2018 was $1 million. They decreased it to $250,000. Why? Deliberately. So the example that you gave of Pakistan is relevant, but I would say you can multiply it by 10 times more, because Pakistan is a country where only local investors are investing.
Right.
Here in Turkey, there are foreign investors. So you're talking in dollars term or pounds or euros. This is what my point is.
This is brilliant. Uthman, once again, thank you for your time. For those of you who have watched this, if you've enjoyed this program, please hit that like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I will put in the description how you can contact Uthman.
One last piece of advice that I want to give you.
Sure.
As I don't call myself an expert. I'm still learning. I learn every day when I go to work. I learn every day about this real estate. It's a big sea. It's an ocean. You learn every day. I am not an expert. It's just with a bit of experience that I gained. I would tell you that.
Keep the phone.
What was in my mind? Yeah. When the investor comes, investors always say, I don't want to listen what this project, what are the surroundings or the facilities the project has around it. I am not interested in this. I am not going to live in this. I am interested how much this project, what things it has inside and stuff. My advice is listen carefully. What do you have around the project? Because that will determine how much the rise, there will be a rise in prices of this project.
Give me an example of what you mean by around.
Listen carefully. If a project is under construction, right? And the construction company, or you get to know that there is a mall going to be built here, which has a completion date around the completion date of this project, go for that project. If there is a metro line nearby that is under construction, and the completion of that metro line is somewhat around around the completion of your project, or after 6 months, go for that project, because it will have what is the word? Supernormal profits. It will bring supernormal profits for you, not the normal profits. These are the terms that I am using that I learned in economics. I hope the people would relate and stuff. These are supernormal profits. It will bring supernormal profits for you. So always when you go to buy some property, listen carefully that what is around that property, how much transportation. Let's suppose a customer says that I don't care about what transportation or what schools and what universities, hospitals are around me, because I am not going to live there. I am just going to invest. I would live in UK. But once the project is completed, you are going to sell it. The person who is going to buy will ask these questions. Where is this university? My kids will go to that university. How far I am from the mall? Where is public transportation? So you should have an interest in these questions. Always ask these questions. And one last piece of advice that I will give you, and I don't want to take so much time of yours. I am tired as well, but this is very important. That if you size does matter, but not here, somewhere else. But what my point is, so my advice is that if you are thinking that I want to invest $130,000, invest in downtown, not in countryside. You can get 2+1 apartment, let's suppose, in countryside, but same you can get a studio apartment in downtown, but that studio apartment will yield more profits, more ROI, more rental income for you in downtown as compared to the bigger apartment 2+1 or 3+1 in countryside. So always choose your location wisely where you want to invest. This is my piece of advice for today, that don't always go for the size. Oh, in this much price, I'm just getting one studio apartment, one 1+1 apartment. What is this? But see the location. The main thing in property or real estate is location. That where is your apartment? A studio in downtown will yield you more profits than a 3+1 or 4+1 apartment in countryside. So always remember this advice.
Excellent. Shukran, Uthman. Jazakumullah khair. For those of you who appreciated this podcast, hit that like, hit the subscribe. If you want to find out more, the details are in the description. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.